Good evening, everyone. Hello. My name is Mary Hennon Thorne, and I am proud to be your Kitchener Senator candidate for the Conservative Party. It is great to be joined here tonight with a great team for members from our party, our team, Megan Shannon, Tyler Calver, Connie Cody, and Carleen Hawley. I have been out talking to voters every day about Canada's recovery plan, and it's been amazing. They've received it in a great way. But tonight, I want to talk to you about a leader that Canada needs. He's been born in Montreal and grew up just outside of Toronto. He joined the Canadian Armed Forces at 17 and completed basic training in BC. He served in the Air Force, where he flew Sea King helicopters on the East Coast. After leaving the military, he became a lawyer, then an MP and a minister. He knows our great country. He served our great country. And he's ready to lead our great country. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the next Prime Minister of Canada, Erin O'Toole.
Good evening, Kitchener! Wow, thank you very much, Mary. It is so great for me to be back home in Ontario tonight with so many friends and so many future members of Parliament. And current members of Parliament, long-serving, honorable members. Friends, it is great to be here with your next Member of Parliament in Kitchener Centre, Mary Hennon Thorne, a passionate Canadian, a volunteer, a hard worker, the exact type of person we need in the House of Commons. But I've got good news. She's not the only one we're going to send to Ottawa from this area. We've got a great team of candidates from across Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, the whole region, starting with the veteran Michael Chong, Megan Shannon, Connie Cody, Carleen Hawley, and Tyler Calver. You know what? They're all going to fight for you in Ottawa, as opposed to fighting for attention about which one can be in a photo with Justin Trudeau. That's what you have in this region right now. And friends, I don't think we need more MPs, Conservative MPs from Ontario. I think after many years, it's about time we have a Prime Minister from Ontario. Ontario is home for me. I was raised here. I joined the military, graduating from high school here. I worked here. And I've been proud to represent an Ontario riding in the House of Commons these last 8 years. But most importantly, I'm raising my family here. And I know and I understand the challenges Canadian families are facing each and every day. My father worked at General Motors. My mom's growing up, both of them were teachers. I saw how hard my parents worked to provide for their children and to help their kids get ahead. Right now, Canadian families here in the KW region, across the country, they're struggling. There's a cost of living crisis for families and for seniors. The price of everything in the last few years under Justin Trudeau has been going up. Gas for your car going up. Groceries for your family, going up. Back to school clothes for the kids, going. Families are also hurting in this pandemic. There's a mental health pandemic within the COVID-19 crisis. We're seeing rising addiction rates made worse by the pandemic. We're having a housing crisis. The economy is in decline and inflation is going up. People are fearful of what the future holds. People are also angry, and rightly so. We're actually in the middle of an unnecessary $600 million pandemic election called by Mr. Trudeau for no other reason than himself. Canadians are angry because they're tired of being lectured by Justin Trudeau. We're tired of being let down by him time and time again, only later to be forced to pick up the bill for his higher prices and out-of-control spending. I want you to know, if you're frustrated, if you're angry anywhere in this country, I want you to know something. I get it. Conservatives get it. Canada needs change. And friends, I've said before that this election is a choice between economic recovery and unity in this country with the Conservatives, or more borrowing, more debt, higher taxes, higher prices, and more division with the Liberals and the NDP. But this election is also a choice about trust, about whether or not we want to reward Justin Trudeau for breaking yet another promise to Canadians, calling a pandemic election he said he wouldn't, a $600 million pandemic election that our country doesn't need. Cette élection est un choix sur la confiance. Allons-nous, oui ou non, récompenser Justin Trudeau pour avoir brisé sa promesse? Allons-nous le récompenser pour avoir déclenché des élections inutiles de $600 million en pleine pandémie? In the last few weeks, Justin Trudeau hasn't talked about the future of our great country. He hasn't provided a plan for Canada. Instead, he has veered into personal attacks, dividing Canadians and using American-style, misleading politics in an election that is only about himself. The differences between Justin Trudeau and myself are stark. My neighbors growing up were auto workers and commuting families in Southern Ontario, working hard, getting home to raise your family and to grow your community, just like the families here in the Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge region. I was in a community like this one that taught us the values that built this great country. Work hard, respect others, and always give back. Justin Trudeau had the red carpet rolled out for him, and despite that incredible privilege, he didn't use his platform to help others or to give back. He's only cared about helping himself. We've seen this throughout his career in politics, a culture of entitlement, of only looking out for number one. Once again, Justin Trudeau is looking out for number one with this $600 million election in the middle of a health crisis. He was told by all parties and voted with it not to have a pandemic election, but Justin Trudeau did it anyway, and in the process, he took his eye off the ball as case counts soared across this country. He cared more about securing power than securing the health and well-being of Canadian families. Friends, that is not leadership. That is self-interest. And sadly, it's Justin Trudeau through and through. Where I grew up, you worked hard for everything you had. Even when you didn't have a lot, you always tried to help others. Your character, your work ethic would earn the respect of your neighbors. character, hard work, looking out for others. Those are bedrock principles, and that is exactly what you will get from this team and from Canada's Conservatives. All of us are here to earn your votes to secure the future for our kids and our grandkids. Instead of spending $600 million on a power grab election, imagine what that money could have done right here in the KW region. Money for hospitals, money to fight the addiction and opioid crisis, money for children and for communities. Every day of this campaign, I've talked about how we could make Canada a better place. That's the discussion we should be having in this election. But Mr. Trudeau isn't interested in a serious debate about the issues. Because what matters to him isn't your job, your health, your home, your retirement security, or the rising cost of living. What matters to him is his job. That's why he'll say anything to get elected, regardless of the damage it does to our country. That's why he'll promise anything, so long as he thinks it will buy him a few more votes. That's why he'll threaten anything if he doesn't get his way. And you don't believe me? Ask Jody Wilson-Raybould. Read the paper today, and you'll see what I mean. Ask Dr. Jane Philpott. Ask Selena Cesar-Chavans, or any of the thousands of people Mr. Trudeau has repeatedly let down as Prime Minister. In fact, the SNC-Lavalin scandal shredded Justin Trudeau's reputation as a feminist, as a proponent of reconciliation, as someone we can trust to know the difference between right and wrong. My team here, we didn't ask for this pandemic election. But on every single day of it, we have proposed practical solutions to secure our future, to make life better, easier, and more affordable, to not burden those young people with Justin Trudeau's debts. Friends, I got into politics for one simple reason. The same reason I decided to serve in the Canadian Armed Forces many years ago. And the same reason great Canadians do that every day, like my friend Rick Hillier, the retired general who served this great country. Rick, it's great to have you here with us tonight. The reason Rick joined the military, the reason I served, the same reason that motivates you for joining your volunteer and community causes. It's the same reason I ultimately stood for election to Parliament, and that was to serve the greatest country in the world, Canada. I am in politics to get things done, to make this country better, to build up and unite Canada, not to tear it down and to divide it. To be proud of the true north, strong and free, and to ensure that we dig deep to make it even better. That's why we created Canada's recovery plan. Our country desperately needs a change, and it desperately needs a plan. One party alone has put out a clear and honest plan for our recovery, and that's Canada's recovery plan. An ambitious plan for Canada's future. My promise to Canadians, and the promise the exceptional men and women here stepping up for us have as Conservative candidates, is to get this country back on track and bring us together again as a country. And in the process, we will recover 1 million jobs in the next year. After 6 years of Justin Trudeau, we will clean up the mess of corruption in Ottawa. We will deliver a new mental health action plan to help our families and communities. We will dedicate nearly $60 billion to our public health care system. We will balance the budget. We will build 1 million more homes, and we will get inflation under control to make life more affordable for families and seniors. Amen. We can't afford 4 more years of Justin Trudeau. But make no mistake, friends. On Monday, if Justin Trudeau is rewarded for calling his $600 million pandemic election, everything you've come to dislike about Mr. Trudeau, the lectures, the selfies, the hypocrisy, the rising prices, the countless scandals and cover-ups, they will only get worse. This pandemic, you know it, this pandemic election is vain, it's risky, and it's selfish. In fact, it is un-Canadian. Putting your own interests ahead of the health of Canadians, that's un-Canadian. Leaving behind in Afghanistan those who risk their lives for us and our country, that's un-Canadian. Dividing and misleading people for your own advantage, that's un-Canadian. But working hard to build a brighter, better, and more united future, a future where Canadians aren't taken for granted, where we strive to make our country wealthier, healthier, and more united. That, my friends, is what it truly means to be Canadian. Friends, we're getting into the final stretch, and our candidates are working hard. But Justin Trudeau wants you to stay home on Election Day. He wants you to vote for smaller parties. He wants you to let him get away with it. For those who are tired of being lectured, tired of being let down time and time again, tired of being stuck with higher prices to pay for Justin Trudeau's massive debt, you need to do the one thing that Justin Trudeau doesn't want you to do, and that is to vote Conservative on Monday. Friends, Justin Trudeau controlled the timing of this unnecessary election. How much did this election cost? Wow. He called this $600 million election, but you control its result. Your vote is your future. Your vote is your power. Your vote is a way to send a message. Your vote is the only way to stop Mr. Trudeau from gaining even more power through this conduct. Your vote is the only way to get the change that Canada so desperately needs. So in this final stretch till Monday, vote for Canada. Vote to secure the future, and vote Conservative. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kitchener-Waterloo, and our amazing candidates.